King Solomon, in his wisdom, once said, "Oppression makes a wise man mad." Even those with understanding can be driven to do unwise things when they're boxed in. How we treated each other is nothing short of abhorrent. Career coons like Jesse Lee Peterson say we are our own worst enemy. Our people will counter this narrative by saying the white race has put us in a bad situation through socioeconomic deprivation. This inability to establish ourselves is why we do what we do to each other. We actually have built up our own economy a number of times throughout history, but it was all destroyed. It wasn't because we failed or couldn't maintain it, but because of outside forces coming in to tear everything down. Our oppression has now made it where we don't want to build anymore. We are no longer trying to do anything for ourselves. Saying the white race is mostly responsible for our most recent shortcomings isn't racist or hateful. It's a verifiable fact of history. Slavery, black codes, the Ku Klux Klan, Jim Crow, sundown towns, COINTELPRO, redlining, police brutality, all done by these people against us. But why us? Why are we the targets? And it's not just white people, but every race of people going back to biblical times. Our people have gone from captivity to captivity. All other races of people have conspired against us even to this day. We had our freedom fighters and revolutionaries, and they were all killed. Why wouldn't the other races of people work with us like they do other races during their down periods? The United States helped China rebuild after Hiroshima, and helped the so-called Jewish people rebuild after the Holocaust. Our people never received any money or support after the bombing of the Black Wall Streets. Who is to blame for what has happened to us? We certainly didn't start Jim Crow. We didn't put ourselves into slavery. Black people didn't form a counterintelligence program to stop black people from rallying and rising up in society. All these things have happened because of the things we've done against our own people and against our God. The God of the Bible is very real, as well as what he promised to do to us if we disobeyed his law. The white man is not the cause of our oppression, but rather a tool used to punish us. We are the cause of our oppression. We are our own worst enemy. If I use a belt to punish my child for disobeying, the belt didn't do anything. It's an inanimate object. The person wielding the belt is the one punishing you. They could have used their own hand, but a belt is more effective. The Most High could just send angels of death to kill us and riddle us with disease. But using a racist, white supremacist society that gives police and regular citizens the right to take your life, along with poor health care and low-quality foods in our neighborhood grocery stores, works just as well. This type of oppression isn't anything new to our people. The Bible talks about many nations who oppressed us. We were oppressed in Egypt, Assyria, Persia, Rome. The more things change, the more they remain the same. All things happen because we, as a people, do evil in the sight of the Most High. Because of this, most of our people live in ghettos. We're the most susceptible to disease and illness. We're disrespected and neglected on every level by other people groups. And we rely on people who hate us for life's necessities because we don't own or control anything. Even the things we manage to put together get taken away from us and used to benefit everyone else but us. It's much more important to stop gunning down our brother, turning our women into whores, and being derelict parents than it is to make sure the police thug race soldier gets a life sentence for murdering one of our own. The race soldier is God's means of punishing us for our disobedience. The teacher beating on our children in the public schools is the Most High punishing us for ignoring his law. You decided to take one of our Israelite sisters home and have meaningless sex with her and make her for the streets. The Most High decided to send two random hillbillies to run up on your kid on their way home from school and lynch them. Am I saying we need to allow anyone to harm us? No, I am not. We are under no obligation to let anyone put a hand on us or our loved ones. Does this mean it's right for the other nations to treat us this way? Absolutely not. The Most High will ultimately punish these nations who treated us like this. However, if we want justice and peace, obedience to Torah law is the only way. All the political, military, and social strategies we come up with will get us nowhere. The way forward is to adhere to the two greatest commandments. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. Your neighbor means your own kin, your fellow Israelite brothers and sisters. The proper response to the injustices and oppression of our people is to ask ourselves, how am I treating my fellow Israelites, and how well am I adhering to the laws of my God? Once we all do this consistently, our efforts to fight injustice and oppression will be effective. Our efforts to establish ourselves socioeconomically will be fruitful. More importantly, it will usher in the new age where Israel will become the eternally established aristocracy. We will not rule by the sword of oppression like Esau, who is such an immoral pygmy that he would seek to show himself morally upright through acts of kindness to a people whose plight he caused through his own evil deeds. Rather, we will be the light to the Gentiles and a blessing to the nations we were promised to be through our father Abraham, through giving the Gentile nations their own land to do as they will as long as they adhere to our laws. We do the same thing now in celebrating all the pagan holidays and paying taxes. The kingdom of heaven is the roles being reversed. We were never meant to be at the bottom of society, but because of our rebellion, we have been placed at the very bottom by the Most High God. The way we treat each other is the way the Most High has guided the other nations to treat us as punishment. It would be silly for a child who breaks everything in the house, disobeys his parents, and acts up daily at school to complain about the belt their parents used to whoop them. Are we a silly people? The Most High seems to think so. We really do need to do better. If we don't, the Most High will give us plenty to complain and protest about. If you enjoyed seeing our military brother gunned down in his own house for no reason, there's plenty more where that came from. The 4th of July is a little over a month away, and most of you had your fireworks, pork ribs, and bratwurst ready, all to celebrate an independence of a people who saw you as nothing more than a dog. Calling a people who do this retarded would be a genuine act of kindness. It would lead to a serious question. Why do you hate black people so much? Some will say this is off code and cooning. It's actually getting down to the heart of the matter. The problem truly is sin. Sin against our God and against each other. Everything happening to us is punishment for those sins. Some will say this is being weak and not wanting to fight. Trying to end our oppression through protesting, civil disobedience, uprisings, militias, etc., all while ignoring and denigrating the Most High and his laws, is the equivalent of trying to put out a fire with gasoline. I'll repeat what Dr. Claude Anderson said again, and how we haven't made any progress socioeconomically from when we left the slave plantations. All of our socio-political exploits have bared no fruit. Unless, of course, you see the ability to lay down with a white woman, shop at the white man's stores, and work for the white man's corporations in order to make them billionaires as progress. We as a people are much better than this, but we will be much worse than this if we continue our rebellion against the Most High. This is not a good idea or a nice suggestion. This is your obligation to yourself and your brothers and sisters to uphold Torah law. To do otherwise is to choose death for you and your neighbor.